So this is just getting even more nuts here locally. The story that we might have some kind of a shelter for the illegal immigrant children in downtown Tucson, and an official flat out says it's great for the kids, but it's bad for John Q. taxpayer. I mean, when is this ever going to stop? Well, apparently, at least there is a county attorney here in Arizona, because I haven't heard from the Pima County attorney. We haven't heard from her in a long time, actually. Where is she? But anyway, Maricopa County Attorney Bill Montgomery sent a letter to ICE saying, you better stop what you're doing. You better not transfer these kids. This could be child abuse here in Arizona. And a man that agrees with that, there was a press release from the Arizona House of Representatives, Speaker Andy Tobin, and he joins me now. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Excellent. I'd be doing much better if we could figure out a way how to, if we could somehow in this state stop this from happening. Any ideas?
Yeah, listen, Gary. I mean, I think Bill hit the nail right on the head with those legal questions regarding the well-being of these children. And I've got bigger issues myself. First off, what kind of a nation does that to its citizens without picking up the phone and calling the governor, without having a conversation? Months ago. I mean, we're hearing that there's I think there was a newspaper report that may be as many as 40,000. These children who are fleeing into our country. I mean, that's without us knowing. What kind of a president does that to their country and does not fill them in and say, hey, can we get some help? All you got to do is pick up the phone and ask the governor and say, hey, we need some temporary housing. We've got this crisis. We've got gang problems in Honduras. It's not, these kids are getting across the border. We don't know what to do with them. It's a humanitarian issue. Let's get, but nothing. It's just put them on buses, put them on planes, send them over here. And in some cases, the reports are saying that they're just bringing them to bus stations. I mean, this is absurd. So, I mean, where's the humanity in this? I mean, we've been fighting over this border, situation for the longest time. I've been down to the Capitol because of drug smuggling, human smuggling, but really, we have people just dying in deserts trying to flee these things. And now all of a sudden, the president, who doesn't like us very much, decides that it's a good thing that they're just going to start dumping people off in our Greyhound stations. That's just bizarre.
It is bizarre. And people, I've gotten out, like I'm no legal expert on this stuff, but I've had listeners email me and Facebook me and all kinds of stuff saying, why don't we have basically the highway patrol, the state troopers, sheriff's deputies, anybody, stop the buses from coming in, turn them around, send them the other way? Do we have any rights as a state to say, don't bring these people, whether it's just children or moms of their children? Do we have any way to legally say, nope, don't bring them here?
No, you know what? This is the federal government imposing their will on states. And, once again, I go back to, who's captaining the ship? Who's running the show? I mean, this is the most humanitarian nation in the world. If we were aware, or if folks were saying that these children are coming here, they're crossing Mexico, think of the hike from Honduras for these children. Think of how did they get here? People, I mean, it's just I don't think we just got done with a special session at the legislature, created the new Child Health Services Program that replaces CPS. It puts millions and millions of dollars into protecting our children, protects them against pornographers and child abuse. And here we have our own president and using his agencies to say, okay, well, let's just start dumping these people in other places, spread it around, spread this around a little bit, and without a phone call, without showing up and saying, hey, going to the radio and TV airwaves and saying, America, we've got a crisis here, and we need to pitch in and do something together and make sure these children are safe and get them back home.
Well, do you think
that's what he should have done? No.
Well, but I mean, I don't think he cares. I think he created this crisis. I mean,
I do too.
I saw a story. Capital Media Services said, it could be part because of a coffee fungus that made people lose work. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then you see the stories of these women. There was one from a TV station down in McAllen where she told the TV station, yeah, on our TV stations in the media, they tell us if you go to America with your child, you won't be turned away. That's why I'm here. And they're getting that message.
Well, the message is that they know that this is the most humanitarian nation in the world, and they know that we try to help people. But this is no way to treat a neighbor. And we have international partners in Central America and in Mexico who should all be part of this. This should have been a huge international story. This should have been something that, if this many children are going this far from Honduras in the center part of Central America, coming all this way, somebody knew this long before they started handing out bus tickets a week ago. I mean, this is just, you have to start wondering, is this administration just that inept, or is this all being done intentionally? And, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but you got to start figuring by the time you're done with Benghazi, by the time you're done, with our VA crisis, by the time people, fast and furious, this incompetence just never ceased to end. And you have to start asking yourself, is it truly incompetence, or do they just not care? From my perspective, it's a lot of both.
Yeah, it really is. We're speaking with Andy Tobin, Speaker of the House, right here on KNST AM790, Tucson's most stimulating talk. Now, I understand the cost perspective, which is frustrating. I understand that these are kids. I get that, and you got to look out for their safety because they're kids, and it is sick. I mean, I can't imagine as a parent sending my kid on a train or whatever and having to walk through countries to get a better life on their own. That's just nuts. But, what about the safety perspective of people in Tucson, the people in Phoenix? Because we don't know if these people bring diseases in. There was a story by ABC 15 in Phoenix about all the scabies and the MRSA and tuberculosis that's being brought in here now.
Well, yeah, it is a crisis. As soon as I got word, I contacted the governor, and we were in contact. I was communicating with 4 sheriffs on Bill Montgomery as well, by the way. I think that he hit it right on the money. He's like, hey, I've got laws. You guys may be violating the laws. Who are these children? Do they have a parent? Is there a family member here? Where are you going with them next? How did they get here? Who made the decision to put them on a plane, or who made a decision to put them on a bus and send them here in 110-degree heat? To be honest with you, I think that your audience could probably sit there and come up with 100 different ways to help solve this crisis, or at least prepare for a crisis like this. I mean, this is like Hurricane Katrina at our doorstep that's coming in through the bus lines and through our airports.
Yeah, it is a man-made crisis. I wonder, do you think the president will actually dare to come to Arizona and see all of these children for a photo op himself? Do you think he's not crazy enough to do that?
Well, it's not like he hasn't come to Arizona before. I asked him one time to declare Yarnell an emergency declaration, and they refused to do that when we could have used some help. But at the end of the day, I think that this president just doesn't know what he's doing. At the end of the day, I don't think he clearly understands any of these questions or concerns from the people who are on the streets. The folks who are working for a living, the folks who are paying the taxes, the folks who are trying to do all they can in a difficult Obama economy, which continues to sit on the throat of Arizonans to help hurt our recovery. So once again, Arizona is going to be in a situation where it's going to cost us money, which, by the way, we don't have very much of. You saw how difficult it was to make some tough decisions years ago, to make difficult cuts, and we're just starting to come back from that, just starting now to come back. Now we're going to have, and who's to know? I can't tell you that there won't be 1,000 here in the next week. I can't tell you there won't be more than that in 2 weeks. I can't answer any of these questions for you. That's why I wanted to come on this morning and share with you. I've had legislators from around the state. Ethan Orr called yesterday. What are we going to do? How are we going to do that? He talked to Pima County, I guess the county manager, and they talked about wanting to make sure that that they were inoculating and things like that. And he goes, Andy, what do you think? And I really, I don't know. This is a federal government who's imposing their will onto our state.
So there's no way. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, to me, I think that the health situation is the biggest danger, the biggest threat to our community, and they're just dropping people off at, like I said, the Tucson Greyhound station, and they're staying in Tucson or going to different parts of the country. We don't know what kind of disease they have with them. There's no way that we here in Arizona can demand that the federal government quarantine people or do anything to protect us.
Well, the governor immediately wrote. I mean, I've never seen her so angry. She immediately wrote, say, hey, just like, hey, what are you doing to us? Where are they coming next? Who are these people? Are they ill? Do they need health services? Or, are you dropping kids off who are under 18 who may get picked up by somebody and end up in a human trafficking situation? What kind of humanitarian would do something like this? It's just bizarre. What is the president of Honduras doing? What is the president of Mexico doing? I mean, these folks, it's not just a U.S. problem. People are having to cross into multinational borders along the way to get here. And, I'm the Speaker of the State House, and I can tell you that I have never seen the governor so angry over a situation like this, where it's not even the common courtesy of a phone call from whether it be Homeland Security, whether it be ICE, whoever. Certainly not this White House.
Yeah, they obviously don't. They don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care at all. And we're speaking with Speaker Andy Tobin right now on KNST AM790, Tucson's most stimulating talk. And here's the thing. I mean, just as a guy that lives here in Arizona, in Pima County, we hear this stuff, and I guess we get sick of. All right, I wrote a letter, because to me, I think the president looks at a letter and goes like this. He goes, next. Yep. I mean, so. You have Bill Montgomery say, hey, you might be breaking the law. Will anybody ever actually have the guts, whether it's Montgomery or someone else, to actually charge Eric Holder or whoever it may be with a crime because of what's going on?
Well, first off, I will tell you, if anybody has the guts, Bill Montgomery has the guts. We have a lot of law enforcement people who have guts. You have Paul Babu down there. We have, our sheriff. Look at some of our best sheriffs in the country. And we have a drug trafficking problem right through your corridor, through your corridor. We have our DPS officers, our Border Patrol agents who are risking their lives literally every day in the middle of the night, in the middle of the afternoon, trying to cut down on that. And we don't hear anything. We billed Governor Napolitano when she was a Homeland Security Director. She didn't do anything for the bill that we sent them for the cost of for these illegals coming into our state.
Yeah, no. So I guess that's what it comes down to, is that we just get frustrated because we hear people try to do stuff, but nothing ever happens.
Well, Governor Napolitano, when she was governor, she billed the feds.
Yeah, I know.
And they didn't pay it. And then when she went back there, she ignored the same kind of letter that she wrote. So somewhere along the line, somebody, goodness gracious, these are our neighboring countries here.
Yeah.
There needs to have been some sort of conversation that went on, or are they just so tone deaf, or do we have no intelligence that thousands of these kids are? I just read a report this morning. It says that almost 3/4 of these children are coming from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and that. I thought I saw that over 34,000 or 33,000 of them have already entered through just the Rio Grande Valley sector alone.
Yep.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, I called not because I have the answers. I just called to share your frustration and let you know that we're monitoring. I may be down there here either tomorrow or early in the week. The governor and I are planning on meeting. She's out of state right now, and I wish I had a better answer for you, but I didn't want to not come on your radio station and appreciate your conversation with the community. And I don't have the answers for how.
Well, I guess I'm going to speak for all my listeners right now. It's just like, if I tried taking kids that are underage and throwing them in a warehouse somewhere and then shipping them around the country, I'd be doing a perp walk right now. But
well, let me tell you something. If that was Arizona that would doing this to these children, we would be on the front page worldwide.
Yeah.
We would be on the front page worldwide. They would be taking pictures of these children and they would be sending them worldwide. And this is coming from the president. This is directly from the president. Somebody had to okay this somewhere along the line, unless he's just finding out through the newspaper what's going on himself, which I think is
right.
sad. If that's his best intelligence, getting it from, and no disrespect to radio. Maybe he's listening this morning on his plane or something and saying, oh, my gosh, I didn't know that was going on.
Well, the NSA will give him a report because I'm sure they're listening. Really quick, I got 30 seconds to speak with Andy Tobin now on KNST. This should be a bipartisan issue. Are you having Democrats that you work with up in Phoenix get behind you and say, yeah, this isn't good, we need to do something about this?
I have to admit, I haven't heard from any Democrats yet, but I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of Democrats. I'm sure they're equally as outraged. We just left the state capitol with 90 lawmakers voting yes on a bill for child protective services to take care of our kids. I know a lot of these people. I am sure they are just as outraged as we are. So I believe that they are keeping their head low. I think a lot of them are thinking to themselves, is this our president that we put in there? I mean, it is just...
It's just nuts.
I hardly know what to say. It is just crazy.
It's nuts.
It is just crazy. So I hope to come down there very shortly and take a look for myself and see if there's anything at all that we can do. I'm sure I know the governor's staff is working on coming together with some sort of game plan. Right now, we have a federal government who is stepping all over us, and doesn't seem that we've got anything that's stopping them right now.
Oh, great.
Sorry, sad to say.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Speaker of the House, Andy Tobin, thank you for the time this morning. If anything else happens, we'd love to get you back on again.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come in.
You got it. Take care.